The building of the pyramids. We've all heard it, right? That the pyramids were built by thousands of slaves, worked to death under the burning sun. But that's not exactly true. Recent discoveries in Giza tell a completely different story. Those workers weren't slaves. They were skilled laborers, paid with food, beer, and housing. Some were even buried with honor near the pyramids. So no, the pyramids weren't built through misery, but through pride, a massive national project that defined ancient Egypt. Viking helmets. We've all seen it, right? That image of a Viking wearing a horned helmet swinging an axe, charging into battle. Yeah, turns out that's a total myth. The whole horned helmet thing actually came from 19th century operas and paintings, not from history. There's zero archaeological evidence that Vikings ever wore those in real combat. Their real helmets were simple, plain metal, practical. 'Cause horns, they just get you killed faster on the battlefield. So yeah, the horned Viking helmet, it's pure stage costume, not history. The Statue of Liberty was a gift from France. Many people believe the Statue of Liberty was a gift from France to the United States to celebrate American independence. But the truth isn't quite that simple. The statue was indeed created by a French sculptor, but the idea behind it wasn't meant to celebrate the 1776 Declaration of Independence. In fact, the statue wasn't sent to America until 1886. A full century later, as a symbol of friendship between the two nations and their shared commitment to freedom. So no, it wasn't a gift for America's independence. It was a monument to a much broader fight for liberty. Napoleon was short. Many people say that Napoleon Bonaparte was short, small, and hot-tempered. But in reality, the rumor of Napoleon the Short came from British propaganda. He actually stood about 1.69 meters tall, average for a Frenchman of his time. The misunderstanding came from the difference between French and British measurement systems. So Napoleon wasn't really small, he was just made small by history. Isaac Newton and the falling apple. Many people believe that Isaac Newton discovered gravity because an apple fell on his head. That's the story we all know, but in truth, there's no evidence that ever happened. The story actually came from a biography written long after Newton's death, and over time people started to imagine the apple literally hitting him. In reality, Newton simply saw an apple fall and wondered, why do objects always fall downward? Never sideways or upward. From that simple moment of curiosity came the theory of gravity, which changed the way we understand the universe. So yes, the apple fell, but it never hit Newton on the head. Columbus discovered America. The idea that Columbus was the first person to discover America is actually wrong. In reality, Christopher Columbus never truly discovered America. When he landed in 1492, the land was already home to millions of indigenous people who had lived there for thousands of years. Even Viking explorers like Leif Erikson had reached North America about 500 years earlier. So the more accurate fact is this: Columbus didn't discover America. He opened the door for European colonization of the continent. Slavery only existed in the United States. The idea that slavery only happened in the United States is one of the biggest misconceptions in history. In fact, the practice of slavery existed long before America was even founded, and almost every part of the world had it. For example, the Roman Empire once used millions of slaves to build roads, buildings, and keep its economy running. Beyond Rome, slavery also existed in ancient Egypt, Greece, the Middle East, Africa, and China. The United States is often remembered for its brutal system of modern slavery, but similar systems existed in many other places too. So, slavery wasn't an American product, it was a dark chapter shared by nearly every civilization in human history.